Let's make a cute fairy. Add a sphere. Lower the X division to 6. Duplicate the sphere for the hair buns. Turn on mirror so that it reflects across. Duplicate the sphere again for the bangs, and duplicate one more time, and this will be for the face. We'll come back to this a bit later, but for now, use the project tool to project the front of the bangs. Add a cone for the dress. Lower the X division to 6. The Y division doesn't really matter. Use the control points to adjust the shape of the cone. From the side view, rotate so that the dress tilts upward. Subdivide with multi-res. Mask and adjust the top of the cone if needed. Turn on radial symmetry to 6, and mask every other vertex at the bottom of the cone. Use the gizmo to adjust these upwards so that we get frills at the bottom of the dress. Move the base upwards, and use the move tool to adjust the shape a little bit. Next, we'll add the arms and legs using tubes. Lower the X division, and double tap on radius so that you can make the arms taper. Turn on mirror, and clone these arms so that you can use them for the legs. Adjust the radii, and when you're satisfied, validate. With the move tool and normal turned on, drag outwards at the endpoints of these tubes. This will give a rounded effect. Subdivide with multi-res, and use the mask tool along with gizmo to make some small adjustments to the shape. For example, making the arms and legs taper more, and adding a slight bend in the elbow and in the knees. Now we'll fix the head. Use the project tool to project the back of the hair, and also project the bangs again if they're sticking out. Subdivide the head with multi-res and make some final adjustments. For the wings, add a plane with 0 subdivision. Turn on mirror and rotate it 90 degrees forwards, then 45 degrees. Stretch it vertically. Make sure local is turned off in gizmo. Put the wings in place and subdivide. Use the move tool to adjust the shape, and subdivide one more time with multi-res. Adjust the shape one more time. And finally, to add some curvature to the wings, use the move tool to push the wing backwards. Turn on two-sided so that the wings are visible from the back. Merge the shapes. For the shapes that have a left and right side, split them and delete one side. Then UV unwrap everything else. For the parts on the right side, duplicate, flip object, and merge it back with the original. This way, the left and right side will share UVs, which will be easier for painting. Let's import it into Procreate. Use color drop to drop in some of the base colors. For example, the skin tone, the dress, and the hair. The selection mask is also a fast way to paint, but note that it only paints the front faces. I switched to 2D to fill in the gaps. I use a lighter color for these frills, and then for the very bottom, I use a darker gray color. With a sharper brush, I add some small decorations on the dress, including some buttons, and then I go around the base of the dress with a darker color, and then use the smudge tool to smudge upwards for the dress design. I use a lighter color for the top of the hair and add in some bangs. For the wings, I find it easier to switch to 2D. I add a random squiggle with the selection tool, add in some random colors. Then scribble again and add in another color, and repeat one more time with a third color. Then adjust the brightness and contrast, and also add some stockings with the same color as the dress. I export it into Nomad. Make sure to set it to PBR UV. For the stars in the background, I add a low poly plane, rotate it, mask the midpoints, and scale with gizmo with local turned off. This way we can scale vertically and horizontally. And now we have a star. For the outline, I duplicate the entire mesh, add a new layer, and inflate. Adjust the amount of inflating on this layer, and turn on inverse culling so that it becomes an outline. Then on a separate layer, add some base paint. For the outlines of the wings, I extract the shell first, and then do a similar process by inflating, flipping the inverse culling, and adjusting the amount of inflating. Add some eyes and mouth using spheres and a tube. Because it is UV painted, I set the environment to be completely blank so that we can see flat shading for UV paint. And here's the final result.